Today, we're diving into a critical question. As artificial intelligence becomes more common in workplaces, could it be used to block union efforts? In a recent congressional hearing, Congressman Rick Allen grilled labor experts on just that, how AI is reshaping work and what it means for workers' rights.
How resilient the economy has been and how the workforce has adapted to every one of those stages in our country. Mrs. Sharfadine, you point out in your written testimony that federal labor market statistics were largely designed to count jobs rather than to measure how work is done. Can you explain how this creates a blind spot for policymakers as we consider AI in the workplace?
I appreciate that question. So currently, we ask workers what kind of jobs they're in, their wages, and so on. But we know from literature, especially from theory, that AI is affecting jobs at a task level. And we don't have questions related to task level. For example, if there is, an image designer or a marketing person at a farm, if you ask that person, what jobs do you do? And that person can answer that they are doing design job, that is there in BLS. But what we need to ask is that, do you use AI in your job first? And second question, what parts of your job is being used via AI? And then perhaps third and fourth question of how much of it's being automated, how much of it's augmenting, and how much are you learning via those tools?
Good, thank you. Mr. Walton, you say in your written testimony that it's critical for employers who adopt AI tools to be fully transparent with their employees and to get their buy-in. Will you explain why it's important from an employer's perspective to get employee buy-in?
Yes, great question. If employees don't buy into what you're doing, they are going to try to avoid it, and they are going to try to work around it. We have seen that. Like, for example, there are some tools out there that were used by some employers that would measure if your mouse was moving and stuff like that. Well, there's now tools that you can buy that move your mouse automatically for you, if you're monitored like that. So, and plus, if you don't have employee buy-in, they won't trust you and they won't respect it. And so it's critical to be transparent with what you're doing for employees. Plus, the other thing is it's hard to get good employees these days. So good employers are going to treat their employees well, and if not, then the market's going to speak and they're going to lose employees. So it's absolutely critical to get buy-in and to be transparent with your employees.
What are some of the most successful approaches you've seen employers take to get employee buy-in?
Well, I think you run pilot programs and you involve employees from the beginning, especially in the unionized work environment. You are upfront with the employees and you explain to them, why are we doing this? Why are we bringing AI in? What are we trying to accomplish? And it's also very important to add feedback loops where the people on the front lines, because it's the employees on the front lines who see all the problems. So it's critical to add feedback loops where they can see the problems and report back to management what the problems are with the tool.
Thank you. Mr. Kelly, I was struck by your written testimony that in your expertise and senior leadership roles at the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and the Department of Labor, as well as in your private legal practice, you have never encountered an employer attempting to use AI to interfere with union activity or suppress union organizing efforts. Why do you think this?
What Mr. Walton just said initially in terms of the fact that I believe most employers want to do the right thing. They realize that it is a symbiotic relationship, that it benefits both sides by doing the right thing. And I feel as if, if you look at the laws that, these historical laws that we have, the National Labor Relations Act is from 1935, the Fair Labor Standards Act from 1938, Title VII is from 1964. These laws were passed well before technology in the workplace, especially artificial intelligence, passed well before the internet as well. But these laws have been able to survive, and the current framework is really important. But I feel as if, as far as employees specifically, why employers aren't looking at that way is because of that idea of trust, that idea that you want to ensure that there is a good working relationship. During COVID, for example, a lot of employers turned to AI as part of the remote workforce. And a lot of times because they weren't able to do traditional in-person interviews, they were using AI tools. So it was increasingly important as part of that trade-off to make sure that they were being productive, which is why a lot of employers turned to AI tools at the time.
Allen started by walking through the evolution of the workplace from farms to factories, then the tech revolution, and now AI. Experts highlighted a blind spot in federal labor data. Current statistics track job titles, but not the tasks workers perform or how AI is changing them. For example, a marketing or design worker might still be listed under their role, but AI could now handle part of their work, something policymakers often miss. Next, the discussion turned to employee trust. One expert explained that if employees don't buy into AI tools, they'll try to bypass them, which can reduce productivity and breed mistrust. Transparency is key. Employers need to communicate how AI is being used, run pilot programs, and allow frontline workers to give feedback. This is especially important in unionized workplaces, where trust between employees and management is crucial. Allen also asked whether AI is being used to suppress union activity. Experts said that, in their experience, most employers want a cooperative relationship with their employees. Historical labor laws, the National Labor Relations Act, Fair Labor Standards Act, and Title VII still provide strong protections even with AI. During COVID, for example, companies relied on AI tools to manage remote work, but proper use and communication were essential to maintaining trust. The hearing raises a critical point. AI isn't inherently bad, but its misuse could threaten workers' rights. By focusing on transparency, feedback, and trust, employers can harness AI to augment work instead of replacing or monitoring employees unfairly. And Congress has a role in making sure labor protections keep up with technology. AI is here to stay, and it's reshaping jobs faster than ever. The question isn't whether AI will change work. It's how companies and policymakers will ensure it doesn't undermine workers' rights or union protections. This hearing shows that oversight, transparency, and trust are more important than ever.